Hi there everybody, it's Verita here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me today for our card making tutorial. I'm going to make a version of this card today with creating like a floral sort of wreath or half wreath there. This particular colour combination used some of the new in colours, so we've got Golden Glow, Barely Blush and Crisp Cantaloupe with some Lost Lagoon. Okay, so this was actually inspired by a different colour challenge which I missed the deadline for, but it's based on that. But I thought what I'll do is I'll use it, the idea for a different colour challenge. This is so I'm going to use colours from the SU Colour Challenge Facebook group, and the colours we'll be using are Balmy Blue, Bubble Bath and Pool Party. Okay, and what we'll be using today is the Greenery Lane bundle. So we've got the lovely thank you sentiment, and we've got these little teeny tiny flowers, okay, that are going to make up our wreath here. And I'm just using one of the leaves. You know, there's lots to choose from, but that's what I'm using today. And of course there's coordinating dies. So for this one, the single leaf, that's fine, but I needed quite a few of the flowers, and Stampin' Up has given us multiples of those. So there's 2 sets of these dies, and then there's another one which is a single, and again you've got 2 of those, so it's quite quick to actually stamp and die cut multiples of those. We've also got the stylish shapes, and we've got the spotlight on nature dies as well to create our sentiment banner and our sort of kind of circular element in the center. Okay, so you'll be relieved to know that I'm not going to stamp and die cut all those flowers. I've already got a whole heap of those done already. So these are the ones in Bubble Bath. I've done a few in Balmy Blue, and I've also done some in the Pool Party. So I've done the leaves in Pool Party, which is sort of a kind of a greenish hue to that colour. Okay, but what we're going to do is I'm going to mix up the way I did this wreath, and I'm not going to do this colour background either. So this was just the largest 2 stylish shapes stacked together to create this, but we're going to create something slightly different this time. So I've already grabbed just a piece of cardstock here. This is actually White Willow, and I've already cut a sentiment banner as well. And instead of using 2 stylish shapes, I'm actually going to use the dot dash one from Spotlight on Nature, and the next one down. So that's not the largest, that's the next one down die there. And the thing with this is it's going to be fine provided you don't overlap these dies. So you want to be sure to tape that down and make sure that those aren't going to move and overlap each other, because that will damage your die. Okay, so we're going to run that through, and that's going to create us like a ring that we can build our wreath on. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that through my die cutting machine, which is just off camera here. Okay, so I'll take that away, and we are left with this. Okay, so, and then we've got a spare bit in the middle there that we can use for something else. So I'm just going to pop that to one side, and we'll clean that up later. But we get this nice, slightly wider, but we've got this nice detail around the edge as well. All right, so that's what we're going to build our card on today. So I've already got a White Willow card layer. This is a full card layer, so it's 4 by 5 3/4, and that's going to go on there. That's lovely. But just to make it pop a little bit, I'm going to do a couple of things. There's some ink around the edge that we're going to put on afterwards, and there's also some ink blending that we've just put around the edge, just to sort of give that white ring a little bit of contrast. Okay, so I didn't want to introduce another colour because it is a colour challenge, you see. So let's grab some paper to protect my surface. So what we will do then, so I'm going to use, so Pool Party is the colour of the leaves, so that's going to go around the edge. So the floral colours are the Balmy Blue and the Bubble Bath, so they're the ones that we're going to put into the background, just to liven that up a little bit. Okay, so I think what I might do is just use that offcut circle to help me position where this is going to go. Okay, so I'm just going to take this out the die. Oops. And I'm just going to use just a teeny little bit of seal, just a teeny bit, just in the centre. Take the tack off. I want this to be able to peel up and not damage the base. So if I pop that in the middle and then remove this, it means I can blend out and I know exactly where the this ring is going to go, if you get what I mean. So let's do the Bubble Bath first, and we'll bring in one of the blending brushes. So I have a blending brush for colour families, not every individual colour, but I've gradually worked up a collection of light and dark, and then a couple of shades in between, sort of like the green blues. I've got a slightly different one now as well. So this is a super pale colour, but we don't want to go too heavy. We don't want any harsh lines, so I'm just going to build that up on the background, and hopefully that will stay in place. Let's just hold on to it just in case, shall we? So we'll pop a little bit of that. I'm not really looking to make it super smooth either, actually. I just want hints of it around the edges here. And I don't mind about this circle, doesn't matter. We don't have to keep this. It's not going to feature in the card, so it doesn't matter if there's harsh lines on that. And that doesn't look like much, but once you put something white on there, it's going to look a little more obvious. Let's pop that to one side. Let's switch in the Balmy Blue. This is going to be a deeper colour though, so I definitely want to take off. See how that is. But pink and blue will make a purpley colour, so I'm not too worried about how they overlap per se. It's going to make sort of a mauve or lavendery kind of colour. So just a little bit here and there. Okay, and that's probably it really. I don't want it to be super dark at all. So let's just peel that away. Just bend it and then twist it away. If there is any residual ink on there, a white eraser or a glue eraser, if you have one, we'll just take that off. Just do it nice and gently. And there's most definitely a nice little halo there. And once we put that on, just got that little bit just peeking out around the edges there, which looks lovely. Okay, so we'll just pop some ink around the edge of that then. So we'll use the Pool Party for that. So there's two ways to do this. We can either use the ink pad or you can use a marker. Okay, so if you use a marker, I'd recommend using the brush tip. Turn it over so your dominant hand is going to scribble on the back. Okay, So I'm going to hold it like this, because if you slip, you don't want that to go onto your nice design, you see. So you can just run the marker around the edge here and do it this way. That can be quite subtle, especially if your markers are a little bit dry. And the other way to do it is to just dab your ink pad around the edge. So this will give you a much darker line. So it's up to you which you would prefer. And again, the cut edges will mean it just sort of feathers in and bleeds a little bit, which is fine. And that's what I kind of want it to do. Okay, so that's the background done, so we can actually pop that onto the card base. So we'll just use some stamping seal for that, just around those edges, and pop that on. Line up those 3 edges that are under my right hand, and once I've got it in place, just drop that down. Okay, beautiful. Just press that along the edges and just reinforce your score line, and then that's our card base done. This is going to, I want this to pop up really. So I'm hoping that that is now wide enough for some dimensionals to go on the back, mini dimensionals. Do we think we're lucky enough to be able to get those to fit? I think so, just about. So they will just about fit, I think. Okay, so let's just pop a couple of these on then. So sorry if there's a bit of noise from outside. Another warm day here, so the windows are open, I'm afraid. So we'll pop half a dozen of those around the edge here, and hopefully they won't show too much. You could use the little foam strips and bend it round. You could even cut those in half, cut some smaller strips if you wanted to. But I'm just going to go with it, just fine. There we go. So we'll just take those off, and we can pop that onto the card base, and we know exactly where it needs to go because that ink blending is right there, so we can see exactly where that's going to go. So that dimensional's poking out a little bit further than I would like, so I'll put that towards the bottom so it'll be covered up by flowers, and then we'll just pop that in place, press that down. So now we've got that nice bit of depth in there. Okay, and now we can build up our wreath really. Okay, I'm tempted to pop the sentiment in first because I had a job fitting in on the original. So what I might do, let's just do that quickly, and we're going to do this in balmy blue. It's the darker colour, so it's better for the sentiment. So this is one of the stylish shapes. The sentiment is from the same stamp set, Greenery Lane. And we'll just look over the top of that and just stamp that down. And again, we'll pop this up onto some dimensionals. Oh, I need some big ones. Where are they gone? There they are. So I'm going to pop a couple towards the middle there. And we'll pop that in somewhere around there, not quite central, or maybe it is, maybe a bit below centre. Okay, and now we can build up and not worry about having space to fit everything in. So next thing is I'm going to take my Simply Scored ball tool. Any rounded tool will do, even the end of a pencil or anything like that. So you know, something like, you know, got a that's got a rubber on the end, that will, you know, help you shape flowers if you want to. You could use, if you've got a, what you call it, a take your pick tool, the end of that cap is quite good as well, okay, for doing it. Or you can use a stylus tool. There's loads of things, just some kind of rounded tool that will help you. This is a little bit more delicate, so it kind of gives you the opportunity to sort of go around the edges of that, and it really shapes them up. So anything like that will do it. And this is just a sponge pad, but you know, you can do it into the palm of your hand if you don't have any issues with that. Just something soft, even use your Stampin' Up magazine catalogue, or a mouse pad, just something with a bit of give that will just help you press the tool or whatever you're using to shape these flowers. And it will just give you this little cup kind of look, which just gives everything just a little bit more life and dimension. Okay, so those are all beautiful. Okay, but the leaves, I'm just going to just curl slightly between my thumb and fingers. Okay, so we can do that very simply, and we'll use some wet glue, multi-purpose glue, to start popping these on. Now, how many did I do? I did 6. So we're looking to get this kind of symmetrical-ish. So we'll work from the bottom. Ooh, there we go. Bit of a blob of glue. Just on that central portion. You do not need loads of glue. Okay. So just enough to make those meet in the middle. If you want to knock some of the stem off, you can. And then we'll just slot them in and underneath each other. So the wet glue will give you enough time to manipulate this and just sort of make sure you've got it how you want it before it completely sets. And like I say, if you need to clip anything, then you can. There we go. So you could do more if you wanted. You could go all the way around. Okay. But we're going to leave it as that for now. Just wrapping itself around. Okay. And then we'll be placing our little flowers. Okay. So what I find actually is the easiest way to do this is to actually put the blobs of glue directly onto the card and then pop the flowers on top. So if you just do little beads of glue like so, and then you can use your tweezers or whatever to help you position those. That might need to be a bit bigger because it's in the sort of in the recess, if you like. And obviously I've got more pink ones than I have blue ones, so I'm just going to scatter those about a bit. So 2 or 3 at a time. Just popping those on. And then we'll go up the other side. So again, not necessarily, you know, perfect symmetry or anything, but just making it look nicely arranged. Okay. And you know, you're probably going to have more flowers than you need, and that's fine too. And you could even go further into that if you wanted to. All right, so I think I'm going to leave it there. Sometimes less is more. Now ideally I'd leave that to dry for a little bit, because what I want to do is finish off the centres with some rhinestones. Okay, so I've got those here, and the smallest ones of these fit quite nicely onto the centres of these little flowers, but ideally I'd like them to be dry because they'll move around a little bit, but it might be alright. So let's just go with it, and you'll just have to forgive me if they move a little bit. These, obviously these ones went down first, so they've had more time to dry. Doesn't take very long for it to be kind of I don't know what you would call it, like tacky, so they're not like super, they're not going to slip and slide everywhere basically. You've got a moment or two just to make sure they're right in the centre rather than off to one side. And then, so it's a little tiny detail, but I think it really helps to use something like this to lift what would otherwise be quite a simple card. And it's, you know, super subtle colours. These are all in the subtles actually. So it's really soft. But you could imagine this in some really nice bright colours as well. So the original one is in those softer colours that we've got, you know, the 2026 in colours. But you could easily imagine this in, you know, Granny Apple Green and Melon Mambo and all those lovely brights that we have. So there we go, that's our little embellishments done, and that looks so beautiful. I think that looks lovely. It's really soft and delicate. Isn't that lovely? Okay, and that's our, that was the original one. I think the having the coloured centre in the background, I don't know, just detracted a little bit. I don't know. I feel like this is much softer. But that's my card for today. Okay, and that's using Balmy Blue, Pool Party and Bubble Bath for the SU Colour Challenge Facebook group. Okay, and I really enjoyed making that, and really like how it turned out. So that's it from me for today. I hope this has inspired you and given you some ideas on how to use some of these products that you may not have thought of before. Thanks for joining me. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.